Welcome to Kickstarter Radio 102.4, and today we're looking at Quests and Cannons, The Risen Island. This is part one of a three-part series of big box games that are planned. So Lipstickpaddy, please tell us all about this first part of this massive trilogy. So please, Lipstickpaddy, take it away. Quests and Cannons, The Risen Islands. Are you ready to be a pirate? Dun, 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 dun. Well, it says a family-friendly, high fantasy on the high seas, competitive adventure game for 1 to 6. Goodness me. Average playing time, 20 minutes per player. Well, this, for me, looks like a pirate version of one of my favourite pick up and deliver games, which is Wasteland Delivery. Keep calling it that. Wasteland Express, which is a post-apocalyptic pick up and deliver. It plays very similar to Quests and Cannons, actually, and I'll explain that as we go down. Interesting campaign, 24 days, blasted through its pledge requirement, and yeah, props to the team on that. I love this image where we come down to this big tree here, especially it's supposed to be like an island game. Now, the board itself, similar to Wasteland Express. It's uniquely set up every time you play it, but in Wasteland Express, in the rulebook, they did have different setups that you could do that are more like planned by the developers instead of just some random setup, because the random setup in itself can make the game a little bit swingy. Can make it swingy. I don't know why all the character boards, they've all got the same ship. Could they not have different setups? For example, oh my goodness, if you go to FTL, Faster Than Light, the video game where you've got different spaceships, every spaceship in that game has, a cargo room, it has engine rooms, and it has this, and it all has the same A, B, C, D rooms, but they're all configured differently. And here, all the boards are configured exactly the same. Could they not have some variability on the ships here? Because it is a little bit samey. Because the only difference is that you're plugging in the pirate to each ship here, everyone has a different start, but really the ships themselves, I feel, should be characters in themselves, a bit like in Wasteland Express. But, for example, one ship should be faster, one ship should have an extra cannon on it, one ship should have extra cargo on it, and things like this. Or one ship might have bigger sails, etc. So the boats themselves could be different too, I feel. Now let's go down, because I think it could do with some extra bits, and it could learn from Wasteland Express for how you're going around the board. And I've got a few potential things that it could do to make it more interesting. Now, it doesn't say you're pirates here. It says you are heroic champions set to explore the islands. You're going to be completing quests. These is your mainly pick up and deliver quests. Gather resources and follow map clues. Upgrade your ship. This is going to be your cannons and your sails. Collect loot. These are going to be special cards that you can use during the game. Battle rivals. This is going to be one element where it's kind of more unique, is that there's going to be way more fighting in this game than any other pick up and deliver game out there. There's quite a lot of reading on this thing. It really is. And there's all these quotes that get in the way of looking at this. And you've got like these pictures here. We don't know what these are. These are the islands that you can visit around the edge of the board. Choose your champion. So these are the factions you can play. The Dwunny. And these kind of slot inside the ship. Right, so here's the board, and every time I see a pirate game that you can upgrade your ship, I'm always like annoyed, because in a lot of these games your cannons have like infinite range, and really these cannons should only be able to fire if you're broadside another pirate, and you really should have to upgrade your cannons where you can get larger range, and even then larger range is not that large. It maximum would be 3, I want to say 3 squares, and on this one it's kind of sniper rifles from the start. Furthermore, these dice are the cannons that you're firing, and it's like, yeah, the cannons are going to be destroying them. Can we not do strategic damage to the ship? I really think that you should be able to target different things on the ship, like take out a sail, take out a space of cargo that you're doing damage to. Not just the health of the pirates. It's a little bit of a missed opportunity, because more strategy. Like, look at that guy's ship, he's got fast sails. Well, when I attack him, I want to take down one of his sails. I'm not interested in killing the other person, because here anyway you can destroy each other's ships and then you just get reset. And really you want to be blowing up the sails, blowing up the actual cargo, because you effectively are slowing them down, you're crippling their cargo hold, they'll have to go and repair that. That's a better system than just exploding and respawning, because that's so anti-thematic. Blowing you up and then respawning, could you, I mean, come on, blast those sails, blast the cargo hold, and all that stuff. You know, because ship combat is not just firing cannons, is it? It's strategically firing the cannons at certain parts of the ship, and you know, you'll be putting nails and bits and bobs in a cannonball to fire it through the hull to like take out the crew. There's no actual crew here though, is there? But that could be another strategy. You can either go for the sails, go for the cargo, or go for the person on the ship that's got 5 health. You could rattle off that as a strategy. I think these could be good, and I think I really think that would be extra special, because here you're kind of so focused on attacking each other, because if you blow the ship up, you take all the coins that are on the front of the ship here, and I really think the reason you want to attack your opponents in this game is to slow them down or cripple their cargo. That's what I think it should be, just far more strategic in what you're doing, because because firing your gun, that should be a sacrifice in movement in my eyes, because if you're going towards doing a mission and you want to fire your gun, it should be a sacrifice. I'm sacrificing my movement here to attack or something like that. So it's not something you're just blasting all the time and sniping people across the board. That just, I don't know, it sounds really daft in my opinion. You're not a battleship in modern times. You're a pirate ship that's got massively terrible range. You've got to go sideways, broadside, close up, and all that stuff. But you could completely game it this way, couldn't you? Homebrew it if you wanted to add this strategy in, but I don't know why the devs aren't pushing it. I mean, it's got time, hasn't it? I mean, it's got till December next year to kind of change it up. Got some examples here of quests and map clues. So the quests are just pick up these 2 medals from the island. Another concern of it is when you set up the game, you are putting tokens. I don't know what all this fluff is here for. You're setting up tokens on the board, unrevealed, and you've got to visit these islands to see what resources are under them. You're kind of hoovering these up though. You should be paying money to pick this stuff up from the islands, I feel. The economy here isn't quite built into it. So it is very simple on that regard. You just go into the island, picking up the resource, easy peasy. So yeah, just picking 2 things up and deliver them. You get 3 victory points, you get a loot card, you get some money. Because on Wasteland Express, if you keep delivering a material, that material becomes less wanted in the region, right? So cost should go down here. Like if your opponents just delivered canvas, that should mean you're getting less reward on canvas because that's being traded a lot, so demand is down. But here they've kind of got rid of the market, and that would have been more fascinating, because if you've got this gold card here, you might not want to hand this in or deliver it because you know you're not going to get a bigger reward. So I think the reward in money here should technically be, look at the supply and demand chart. I think that would be more interesting if they accepted that, because potentially it's a little bit just too simple. It's like, pick this up and deliver it. It's not, let's look at the chart, let's see what I can get good money for if I go and collect this resource, because it's like massively in demand. No one's delivering this at the minute. Demand's up in the region, so I could go and deliver that. This is another thing that you could add here. There's lots you could add to this game. It's got an interesting foundation, this game. It does have these map clues though, and this is kind of an interesting thing, that you're out there trying to solve a map and get some treasure. I don't know. And the game is designed to be like played on one evening, and although it is kind of open world, you are kind of limited in what you're doing. You're either doing the quest, pick up and deliver, you're doing the map thing, or you're out to attack your opponents. If you want a big open world adventure, then you've got Sea of Legends, which is coming out with its expansion, and I guess you'll be able to get the base game of that. Coming out soon if you want the bigger open world experience. Alright, so like I say, lots and lots of like wording on this Kickstarter. It's kind of bloated because of that. We should see more sexy close-ups of the board and how it looks on the table. We've got kind of all these like low image GIFs here. Yeah, modular board allows for solo. Co-op, 2 to 6 player free for all, 2 versus 2, 3 versus 3, 2v2v2 teams. It's like massive options going on here. It does say there's more options with alternate tile laying and rule variants, so there is kind of lots to be playing here. I don't know, but if you're testing all these type of variants out, that's where you're not polishing one of them off, is what I feel. Because if you're doing the polishing the free-for-all, you might have been interested in having a demand and for your resources, right, in the region. I also feel that the way you're going around, why aren't there any pirates? Why is there no ghost ship that is going around? An NPC ship that is stopping you from going to certain islands. In Wasteland Express, you've got 3 of the trucks that are going around and potentially making you go a longer distance to where you're trying to go and things like this. So that could be really easy to put in though. You just put in a pirate in the map there and moving him every turn. And you could have it a bit like Talisman. If you get a 6, I don't know, if you get a 6 on the die or something, you can move the NPC. Or if you get, I don't know, I'm not super game designer here, but I think there definitely should be a pirate ship on here that's going around, maybe 2 different pirate ships on the board. I think they should be able to visit islands as well and take out the island, so you can't visit the island, things like that. I think the NPC though going around as another challenge would also make 2 players and of course the solo more interesting. So where is the AI component that you could be putting in here? And it's actually trending this year on Kickstarter for games to put AIs in to make the solo and two-player modes more interesting. And I think definitely could be put in. So there's like lots here that I think this game could definitely can do. Now it says we're planning, this is like hidden in the text here. The Risen Islands is part 1 to a 3-part saga. Okay. We're planning direct expansion quests and cannons, the cosmic cipher that will make it more complex. With crew members, sea creatures, new upgrades, quests and loot, buildable towers and lane barriers. Why is this not in now? Additionally, the Cosmic Cipher will have a campaign mode that transitions the narrative to set up Ark of the Elder Herd, which is a narrative-driven co-op island delving dungeon crawl, and will culminate with Part 3 Quests and Cannons Darkness Within the Fold, a world-scale epic boss battle game. So this is so kind of small here, and this could have been highlighted much better. But anyway, potentially what you're getting here is a skinny version of the game. It's like the family weight version of the game. It looks like that this expansion part 2 is the meaty game. And if none of these changes, which I keep saying it should have, don't come till part 2, then I might just wait for the part 2 Kickstarter and get the base and part 2 as a thing. And it doesn't really talk about the strategy here. Is 2 coming out next year? Is 3 coming out the year after? But anyway, this talks about it's going to be expanded on, and that's a good thing, right? So in the box, you get 6 boards all looking the same. You get different heroes that you can plug into them. There's a huge amount of cards though for map cards, loot cards, and pick up and deliver quest cards and things like this. $60 going in though, which is a cheap-ish retail place. And they call them champions, the factions that they are. Some of them start with more sails and more cannons. They should all be basic cannons though, and you should really need to update the cannons, and the hold should be able to be upgradable on ships and things like this. I mean, each ship should have different setups, is what I feel. But these delves, the reason you've got 3 people in the delves is because you can do 3 versus 3, and you can actually become all of the delves, for example, here, and plug in the 3 of these. Then it'll kind of be more boring, I guess. Bonus champions have already been unlocked, and they're all coming in standees. And the standees act as the sail on the ship. The wooden ship pieces here, which is fairly cute, actually. Loads of trackers and things like this, and the dice. Tokens for the islands and all this. Why not different cannons? Blow stuff up. Hull damage tokens. So what about damage sails? Maybe you want to attack their cannons if they've got more than one. Disable a cannon. That is something that can happen. The board itself though is big, colourful, vibrant, looks good. Like it. Nation tiles that you're plugging in. Oh look, pushing this fantasy focus of the game. Different outposts as well. And the tiles all have, you know, different dangers on the and things like this. The trading posts, the coins that can become metal, the good damaged dice. But yeah, the damaged dice. It could be if you get. I know they've got like damage is equal to 4 pips. So if you roll 2 cannonballs and you get 2 4s, that's going to be a hit. Or you get a 6 and a 2, that adds up to 8. So you get 2 hits with that. But I still think the combat should be have more depth to it. Quest cards then, these are your meat and potato of going round PvEing, I guess. Loot cards giving you some interesting abilities. Clue cards and yeah. Double-sided reference cards, nice. Designed insert rule book, nice, and all this stuff. Well, like I said, the game is looking like a foundation, right, for to build on this kind of system. And you're kind of coming in here at the base level, and it's going to be expanded on years to come. I do like the concept of the double-sided neoprene playmat. Does this have a hole in the center? So these, and what's the other side of it? Oh, this must be printed on this. They're calling it quick play, which means it's kind of more balanced. This is actually really good. They've got this. This is the Deluxe pledge anyway, paying $40 extra for this. And metal coins that don't really evoke pirates or the fantasy world. Should they not be stamped with, I don't know. They just look like the coins could be from any game. They're kind of generic in their look. The custom traveler's dice, these look kind of interesting. What's inside the dice? Is it fish or something? That would be quite nice if it was something like that. Then they've got these really daft that you'd be backing these when you could be backing games. And here we go, the shipping. And we know the shipping's all over the place at the minute, but still no Mexico on the list. And you have got to contact them to get that information if your country's not listed there. Stretch goals coming in, though, are interesting. Loot cards, lamination for the boards, spot UV for the board. What's shiny on the board? It's just wood, isn't it? Why have they not done spot UV for the the actual board you're playing on? Because the water might have some UV spotting on it. I guess I don't know what they're gonna UV spot on the ship. Lamination though, they're really into this lamination technique. They're putting that on the tiles and tokens. Loot cards, more to be announced. I really want to see a NPC pirate. That's what I want to see. Pins. Pins, if you subscribe to our email list and back the game, you get some of these pins. Okay. They've got quite a lot on how to play the game here, and let's have a look. Explore, move your ship, see what the island has, and you just gather it. You're not like buying it or spend a turn to get it, and you can just load up your ship from it. You're just collecting it. Quest quest is just telling you what pick up and deliver you need to do, and that sounds easy enough. Go and upgrade your ship though, put more sails on, put more cannons on, and potentially get more cargo hold. Those cannons, different type of cannons, different upgraded sails. You can definitely have different material for the sails. Different type of cloths or silk, and this is fantasy, right? You could have some kind of spell weave sails. They could be holding all this back for their expansions. We don't really know what the plans are. You don't have to do the missions, though. You can just bang in and sell your goods at the trading post, it says. But again, that's just so simple, and there really should be a market board so that you can't just quickly sell. I mean, there could be a trading post, and just next to the trading post there could be wood. And what's stopping you from just collecting the wood, going to it, collecting the wood, going to it, collecting the wood, going to it? There's this kind of gamey system that you can kind of do a little cheat system. Wasteland Express had that if you pick up from a certain island, you can't actually return to the island until you've delivered. That stopped you going right back to get more of it, and made you go and travel around the board a bit for that resource, because it just wouldn't trade with you a second time. It was kind of a nice solution. Nothing like that here. Battling, the big thing here. No player elimination, sunk players respawn back at the home port. Wish that wasn't there. I wish you could just damage the ship. Now it says the co-op and solo closely emulate the multiplayer experience with minimal overhead controlling AI ships. This should be in anyway for your modes, and have a pirate that's doing it. Be interesting for all ships. Now there is some love out there. Lots of people kind of want a little bit more on the bone than what's in this base, but again, the concept of planning part 2 and part 3 of the campaign, you know, possibly could be addressing these things. So at the minute the base might be a little, you know, you might feel like, oh, I'm going to wait for Kickstarter 2 of this game because then it'll have more meat on the bone, and now I feel like it's time to jump on the campaign. Now in this list it doesn't talk about when they're closing the pledge manager, which is a little bit strange because you've just got to guess. It looks like it's going to roll all the way until the end of the year, but we don't really know that. Now, I want to go to the quick FAQ just before I finish here, and then I'll come to my final thoughts. A lot going on this page, isn't there? Oh my goodness, lots of videos. What are the details for the playmat? The double-sided playmat is large with a printed full map for quick setup. That sounds really good. The reverse side of the map is a 3 versus 3 layout, so they're kind of modified differently. And it will come in a cardboard tube, so your delivery, that'll add to your shipping, won't it? Alright, let's go to my final thoughts. Well, Quests and Cannons looks certainly interesting. A pirate version of a pick up and deliver with pretty much lots of combat quests, and I like the fact that you've got items you can use to power up your ships. I really wish the boards themselves were characters. The boards of the ships had their own names, and they were also different in starting up. I felt that would have been nice. Would have been nice if the factions themselves had their own specific ship type to go with that faction. That would be even more thematic to have that in. I think combat should be more strategic, where instead of just blowing people up to steal their money, actually hit their sails to slow them down, take out their cannons so they're less of a threat, blast out their cargo holes so that they can't do as many pick up and delivers without actually going and getting healed up. I think healing and losing some of your money should be part of the combat, and I think there definitely should be a some kind of resource exchange where when someone delivers certain resources, the money you get for that is determined on demand of that resource, where if people keep delivering a certain type, You get less money for doing it. That's kind of what I did. Wish it was, because you'd be more strategic with the quests that you're handing in and going for the ones that give you a bigger reward and stuff like that. And of course, the NPC pirate that should be going around, and that should be really aggressive. If you get near the NPC, he's going to try and attack you. That would be super, super cool. And also, again, he could be taking out islands and just become a real bugbear in the world. And yeah, quests and cannons then. It does look super interesting. There's obviously a lot of things it can change into, though, as it's still in the design phase. And of course, some of these design features could bleed over to part 2 of the game and part 3. Does sound good, the part 2. Definitely sounds good, the campaign on part 3. So this is definitely going to be part of a series that I really think looks super interesting. But as it stands, I've got Sea of Legends, and that gives me a full open world experience. This one is giving me an interesting experience, but just lack of depth in its strategies on the board. That's kind of why I can't recommend it, but that's only because I've got Sea of Legends. If you've not got a pirate game in your collection, then this could be for you, especially with the expansions and stuff. And it's a game that you can play and get done all in one session, right? Sea of Legends, though, is a massively more ambitious project, and they're coming out with a reprint of that and the first big expansion for it. So that's going to be really exciting. That's coming up soon, peeps. Coming up soon. But quests and cannons. If you like pirate games, this could be for you and your play group. Just wait and see how it evolves. Could be a $1 pledge, see where it evolves. That could be interesting. But I think for me, I might be more interested come back when they've got the Quests and Cannons expansion box, because I think that is going to bring the depth that I think I'm looking for here. And certainly part 3 with a campaign. I wonder if it will go legacy. Well, on that cannonball shell... Is there a cannonball shell? On that bombshell... Thank you so much for listening. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like Kickstarter videos like this one, please think about subscribing to our channels. We love bringing all the super cool games to your attention. And yeah, I've been Lipstickpaddy, your host. You've been listening to Kickstarter Radio 102.4. You take care, stay safe, and bye-bye for now. Arr, me bloody boy. Arr.